Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I'm firstly so sorry that I haven't posted as much videos as I hoped to do. So I'm happy just to be back in a routine and hopefully be able to serve you guys with a really good video. So today I wanted to talk about something called toxic femininity, because I think that is something that hasn't been discussed a lot on YouTube, at least not as much as I want to, because as we talk so much about femininity and what it means and how important it is to develop a healthy feminine mindset, I think we also need to look at the other side of it. So first of all, what is toxic femininity? And if we look at a definition by Savin Williams, it describes femininity or toxic femininity as this internalized misogyny. So it means all of these mental and physical needs that we all have, but we choose to ignore them because we've been so oppressed in a patriarchal society. So well, let's think of all of those needs and you've had in your life that you've chosen to look away from or ignore because society told you that it's not appropriate to have those feelings. And I think that is as I said, a byproduct of patriarchal gender norms, which is very sad, obviously, but it is a realistic explanation for why something like toxic femininity is prevalent and why it exists among us. But I wanted to then discuss how to avoid all of these traits. And number one, I think gossiping is a huge toxic feminine trait to have, because there is the stereotype that women gossip more than men, but I completely disagree. I think men gossip just as much, if not more, than women, but it's just more looked away from when they do it, and it's more expected when women do it. So that's why we have this label of being gossipers. But I also think it's then important to keep in mind that because we already have this stereotype, we have to be even more careful when it comes to gossiping, because gossip is nothing but just empty words that hurt other people behind their back. And I think that is very hard. I think that's very sad to do towards other women, because I look personally at other women as my sisters. A lot of times I value their opinions more than I do with men, because I know when it comes from women, most of the time it comes from a safe place of knowing what it means to be a woman in this world, and they have the same experiences as me, so they can give me advice about things that I know I probably need. And that's why I appreciate and support women so much. And that's why gossiping can be such a isolating thing. It can isolate people from each other, and it can make people divided by doing that. And that's the least thing we need to do towards other women, because the ideal is to support each other, make each other great, and be a strong union. And that can't happen when a thing like gossip happens, because it just divides. So keep that in mind. It's easy to fall into gossiping. I think that's a part of human nature at the end of the day. But if we make an active effort to just try to stop talking bad about people, stop gossiping, and being more focused on our own and what we do and how we can improve, I think that's going to be a very positive thing to do for yourself in your life. Next off is start keeping certain things private. If there's one theme that keeps occurring again and again in my videos, it's probably the whole thing about being private. And I've discussed a lot about it, but just briefly, it's all about I think there's something about having certain things for yourself and having that inner world within yourself where it's safe to be you. I think that is always something we need to foster, because the world can be so cruel and life can be so hard. So it's good to have a part of yourself that you can always rely on, a part of yourself that is only yours. And even if you're married or have a relationship, I think it's still good to just have this little tiny bit of space within yourself that is only your world. And it can be filled with anything. It can be filled with art, love, hobbies, but as long as it's your own, I think that is very powerful and something you can escape to when things get too out of control in life. So that start keeping certain things private. And I've also learned that when you keep everything out there in the world, it's easier for other people to inject their own opinions and hurt you and try to gossip about it. So by keeping the most important things that you want to keep private, then I think you protect yourself in a way. And that is, protection is so important when being a woman in the world. So yeah, I think that's an important part of developing a healthy femininity or feminine mindset. Next off is never beg anyone to be in your life, which in other words means don't be desperate for anything in life. If there's one thing I've learned, and this one, it was a very hard lesson, is things that are meant for you will stay and the ones that aren't will leave. And there's no point in keeping things that don't serve you anymore, because that is what it means. When any person or any opportunity leaves you, I think it's just a way of the world or the universe telling you that it doesn't serve you and it's not for you and there's something better out there. And I think if you have an abundance mindset, I think that's easy to think that if opportunities don't come to you or people don't come to you, relationships don't come to you, it's because there's something better out there and it's just waiting for you. And just to always have this great quote in your mind that I always have in my mind is, if you want to have great things in your life, you have to throw out the trash first. And I'm a firm believer in that. Once you start accepting that people are who they are, some people might be toxic, some people might not be in the best interest for you. Once you accept that and you let things go and you're not desperate for it anymore, you'll see how all of the great opportunities in life comes flourishing towards you. So always keep that in mind. Never beg for anyone or anything. And don't be desperate. Just have, a good mindset. Be positive. Work as hard as you can towards your goals. And if it worked out in your favor, amazing. And if it doesn't, you'll find another way. Life is so fluid. Nothing that comes in your way is ever stronger than what you are. I truly believe that. So next up is, in order to avoid a toxic feminine attitude or mindset, I think it's important to stop negative attitude in general. Stop being negative and pessimistic. I know people, I like to think of myself as realistic, but I do feel like I do tend to lean towards a more optimistic mindset when it comes to life. I remember one of my favorite shows of all time is Fleabag, and one of the quotes was the priest. If you've seen the second season, it's amazing, by the way. But there's this priest that says in the second season that why would you want to believe in something awful when you can believe in something amazing? And that is true, because I think it's the same thing we can apply to when it comes to being positive in life. It's easy to look at all of the things that happen in the world, which is incredibly horrible right now. But I think the way that you approach it and the way that you go about things, I think it can definitely have an effect on what happens towards you. If you choose to have a more positive mindset, you'll start to look for the positive things in your life. You'll start to be grateful, which I think that is one of the most important things we need to do right now, is be grateful for what we have. And that's what you do when you're positive. You start trying to scan for the good things and you start appreciating the small things, which is all it's really about. So I know it's hard I think it's easy actually to fall into a negative pattern, because I feel like that is just what we've learned in a lot of ways to be. And it is sad, and sometimes being the positive, bubbly person in a group setting is sometimes looked down on, especially if you're a girl as well, or a woman. And I think that is sad, but don't ever try to let that affect you. Try to create this inner world where nothing on the outside can affect your mindset and how positive you are. So I would recommend go a week, be positive. Look at the bright side in every situation. And I promise you, after that week, you will feel so good. And fifth tip is don't let yourself go. And I definitely have days where I like to just stay at home, not wear any makeup, wear very I don't know, like sweatpants, and like just being lazy. I think that's okay. It's okay to have day off. But I think there's something about having a routine where you focus on looking your best. And looking your best is different for everyone. It's a different interpretation. But for me, looking my best is all about having good hygiene, making sure that I look clean, make sure I smell good, and hygiene such as dental work, just making sure that I'm also taking care of my errands around me, like my errands, my goals, my everything, making sure that my clothes are clean, just keeping things presentable. I think that's really important because the way that you establish yourself on the outside does have an impact on how people approach you and come to you. So you don't need to put on a lot of makeup. You don't need to have any makeup on. You don't need to have like this extravagant hair on you or anything like that. I just think it's about just presenting yourself in a reasonable way will definitely give a good impression of yourself. And I think that's what femininity is about. It's about being also taking care of yourself in a way where you don't look at it as a chore, but rather as this privilege and an amazing experience, and it's fun. I think that's one of my favorite things about being a woman is we're allowed to do that. We're allowed to take care of ourselves, and it's considered, okay that we do it, and we're not criticized for wanting to take care of ourselves. To me, that's girlhood. It's all about having fun and pleasure in expressing myself and putting on makeup and trying new products and all of these things. I love that about being a woman, and it's not looked down upon because it's what society expects of me anyway, so I might as well just completely enjoy it. So yeah. And sixth is I think this one is also very beautiful, which is stop accepting things you don't want. Like, stop accepting bad behavior from people. Don't accept bad jobs that you're not happy and you're miserable in, and don't accept bad relationships with bad people. I think it's easier said than done. You can't always control how other people treat you, but you can create boundaries. You can't control having a bad job. It's a horrible economy right now, but I want you to still look for other jobs. Don't give up. Don't think that this is where you're going to be stuck the rest of your life, because that's not the case. Don't ever give up, because everyone has started somewhere and it's not always been great, but this is not forever. And don't accept bad relationships. I think it's easy to fall into bad relationships when you're young and you're naive and you don't have a lot of experience. But once you've been in those, just learn from them that what you want and what you don't want. I don't think any person deserves to be in a bad relationship where they're treated horribly. And so don't believe that for yourself either. Don't be afraid to be single if that means that you need to move out and you need to start on your own by yourself. And that is scary. Absolutely. We feel like we need people. But I think believe in the strength that you have in yourself. Don't accept being treated bad, because you're not supposed to be treated bad at all. So leave those bad situations and believe in yourself. And I promise you, the world, the universe, whatever you believe in, it will give you everything you deserve. So I hope you guys enjoyed what this video meant and was supposed to mean, and I'm excited for my next video. And I just comment, subscribe, like, share, everything. I appreciate you guys so much, and I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Bye.